Hey guys, this is DemiTube, and welcome back to another episode of Dirt Cheap Cosplay. Alright, so if you've been watching any of my previous episodes, well, my recent episodes, which there's only one of, you will know that I love to go all out for Fictional Character Day, and this year I am going to be cosplaying as Cynthia from Pokemon. And in the previous episode, I made her hair clips, which I have right here. These babies right here. And if you missed that episode, you can go check it out. I'll put it in the card in the upper corner right there. Just click on it and check it out. Honestly, it doesn't matter which order you watch this in. It doesn't really matter. So you can either watch this video first or just go ahead and go watch that video and then come back to this one. So anyway, for this part of the video, I will be making that long, beautiful jacket thingy that Cynthia has on. And because it's going to be in the summer and it's going to be very warm while I'm wearing it, I don't want to make a full-blown friggin' jacket because I'm gonna die of heat stroke. So instead, I went to my local thrift store and found this long black cardigan. I can't show it on screen right here because it's too big, but I will put in a picture. I'm pretty sure you guys can look at it now. It's very long and it's meant for someone a whole lot taller than I am. So again, it's very, very, very long. I'll be using that as the base for my jacket, and I will be adding some embellishments to make it look more like Cynthia's. Those embellishments are these acrylic gem buttons. They have little holes so you can stitch them onto your surface. And honestly, if you can find all of the gems that go on her chest, that's great. But all I could find were these two silver ones. And if this one up here was a whole lot larger and was clear, I would have used that. But unfortunately, I couldn't find them, so I can only use these. And I'll be hand making the center teardrop shape one out of this air dry polymer clay and then painting it silver to match. Her fur accents that are on the train of her jacket and then on her sleeves, I wanted to use faux fur, but I couldn't find any of it. But I did find these black feather boas at the Daiso or the dollar store, and I figured that these would be a whole lot easier to work with because I don't have to cut it into strips. It's already in a nice strip already, so I'll just be stitching those on as they are. And so yeah, I'm gonna show you how I do that. One more thing, like I said, this cardigan is meant for someone a whole lot larger than I am, so there are buttons on it that are supposed to fasten underneath the chest, like right where the chest is, but they're too low for me. They're like right around my stomach. So instead, I will be using these large hook and eyes. They're originally meant for pants, I believe, but I'll be using this instead because I want it to be hidden behind my little acrylic gems anyway, so these will do just fine. So first things first, this is a cardigan and it's supposed to be buttoned up, but like I said earlier, these buttons are now completely useless, so I'm just going to take a little seam ripper and a pair of scissors and I'm just going to remove every single one of these guys. Okay, so I did have some difficulty, but I did remove the buttons. When I tried this on, this white tag showed up around my legs and it was very distracting, so I'll be removing this as well. Now that everything I don't need has been removed, I am taking just the bottom end of the cardigan and then I'm going to take one of the feather boas and I'm going to measure how much I need to cover up this ribbed edge. I want the bottom edge to be extra fluffy, so I cut two pieces of the same length, and now I'm just going to be twisting them together to make one extra fluffy feather boa thingy. Now I'm just going to take the end of my boa here and I'm going to shove it into the buttonhole at the very bottom of this cardigan so that something will hold it in place as I continue stitching the rest of it to the bottom of my cardigan.
Next, I'm going to be taking this piece of parchment paper and I'm going to be sketching the shape of a teardrop on top. Then I'm going to take my air dry polymer clay and sculpt a teardrop shape on top of this using this paper as a reference. I'm also going to poke some holes using this large needle so that I will have some place to sew this giant gem on. There's a little dust in the surface, but I'm going to be painting it so I don't mind. Now I'm just going to let it dry overnight.
One eternity later.
Here I have the teardrop shape that I made out of polymer clay, and I used air dry polymer clay, which takes ages to dry. It's been about 3 days since I sculpted this, and honestly it still feels a bit squishy on one side, but I'm not going to be painting that side, so I can just let it dry as it's being painted, if you get what I'm saying. Now before I paint this, I'm just going to take some pure acetone and I'm going to be cleaning off the surface just so I can get any dust and oil that might be on the surface so the paint can stick to the thing better. Once it's clean, I'm just going to take some silver acrylic paint and I'm going to paint the surface. Here I took some masking tape to mark where I wanted some of the chest accessories to go. This is where I want the big hook and eye to go so I can close it in the middle like this, and this is where I want the acrylic gems to go. So now I'm just going to sew them on. Alright, so now that's done and it can be fastened into place, and that looks pretty cool. I'm actually trying it on right now just to make sure the buttons are in the right place, and I thought I would just show you that I already sewed on the fur for the sleeves with pretty much the exact same method as I did for the train. It's just that I only sewed it in 2 different places so I can still retain the stretch of the sleeve so I can put it on properly. As for the fluffy furry choker, I just took the remaining length of the feather boa and then I added the same hook and eye that I did for the jacket, and I added a piece of fabric on the end so that I will have more room, and then I just made it so that it fastens around my neck. My cat is in my room. And just when you're making the choker, be very, very careful. It's better that it's a little too big than too tight. Even if it doesn't feel uncomfortable, if you have something too tight around your neck for too long, it can cause some serious problems. So like I said, it's better for it to be a little too loose than a little too tight. So be very careful.